Week 6 of the fantasy football season. Here's the top 12 defense DST units I'm ranking. Number 1, the Green Bay Packers. So this week, a great matchup. Cincinnati coming to town. I know they traded for Joe Flacco, and it looks like he possibly could be the starter going into the week for the Cincinnati Bengal team. But even Joe Flacco with the Browns, even though there's way better weapons, obviously, in Cincinnati than it was in Cleveland, I just think Joe Flacco, he's got to pick up the playbook. He's got to learn a lot of things, and he wasn't really stretching the football down the field with this Brown team. So if he's the starter, I still think Green Bay goes out there, has a big ball game, and if it's Jake Browning, once again, we've seen it already, turning the football over, taking big hits. So regardless who the quarterback is this week for the Cincinnati Bengal team, Green Bay, one of the best units in the league. I know they had the hiccup in week 4 in a tied 40-40 game where the defense gave up 38 points. But I think after the bye week and Micah Parsons getting more healthy this week versus Cincinnati Bengals, they go out there, have a big game. They go number 2, Denver Broncos and the Jets in London this ball game. And this Denver Bronco defense, they're starting to get it going over the last few weeks, especially coming off a victory at the championship Philadelphia Eagles last week in Philadelphia. So this week, London ball game, like I said, New York Jets, they're versing this Jet offense. They got some players, obviously, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall in the backfield. Justin Fields, he's been playing decent football, not turning the football over. But I think Denver, they get off to an early start, and we know this defense, they get to the quarterback, they create some turnovers, and they can hold you as well to a low point total. So this week versus the Jets in London, I think Denver goes out there and puts in a big game. Number 3, the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off bye this week. Great matchup versus Cleveland. And Cleveland, I thought last week the offense definitely looked better with Dylan Gabriel in their quarterback. But a young quarterback to go travel to Pittsburgh in his second career start, I think it's going to be a long day for Dylan Gabriel and this Steelers team. On paper, one of the better defenses in the league. And in the division matchup as well, we know Mike Tomlin, his teams have had great success versus rookie quarterbacks throughout the years. And this week, I think Pittsburgh, coming off the bye and they're rested and healthy now, goes out there and has a big game. Number 4, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles in a division matchup Thursday Night Football at the New York Giants. And this Giant team, we know they're banged up. Obviously, Malik Neighbors out for the season. Darius Slayton, it's not looking good. He's going to play in this game. So pretty much this good Philadelphia Eagle defense is going to the New York Giants. And this Giant team starting all young guys who obviously don't have a lot of experience. Started rookie Cam Scatterbo, rookie. And in the receiving room, it looks like Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt. And then you got the second-year tight end Theo Johnson starting. So a young offense it's going to be. Philadelphia, obviously, they take advantage of young quarterbacks and mistakes. And this week at the Giants, after coming off a tough loss versus Denver 5, I think they go out there, Philadelphia, and have a good game. Number 5, New England Patriots. So the Patriots last week, what a ball game it was. They made Josh Allen and the Bills, obviously, earn all 20 points they put up, and their defense made plays. 3 turnovers versus a Buffalo offense that doesn't turn the football over a lot, and holding them to 20 points is a big feat. So this week, a great matchup at the New Orleans Saints, one of the worst teams in the league, obviously 1-4 with Spencer Rattler at quarterback. So I think this defense gets after it once again, get a few sacks, could create a few turnovers, and they could hold this Saint team mid-teens, low 20s. Number 6, the Los Angeles Rams. So the Rams traveling to a depleted Baltimore Raven team. And last week was a tough loss for Los Angeles, and their DST didn't do anything versus San Francisco 49ers. But this week, I think they could get it right at Baltimore. Obviously, Cooper Rush in their quarterback, no Lamar Jackson they have to deal with. And last week, they couldn't move the football. Was this Baltimore Raven team versus the Houston Texans. I think the Los Angeles Rams, after a down week last week, their defense gets back to focusing, and they could get a few things going at Baltimore. Like I said, without Lamar Jackson, if you could just sell out on the run and try to force Cooper Rush to beat you in this game, I think it could be good results in this one for this Ram DST. Number 7, the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts, they've been a better defense at home than they've been on the road over the last few seasons. And last week they had a big game versus the Vegas Raiders over there in Indianapolis. So this week another good matchup versus Arizona. Kyler Murray banged up with the foot injury, but I think he should be good to go in this ball game. And if he's not, then you would boost up this Indianapolis Colts team higher in the rankings. But like I said, they get to the quarterback. Their offense puts up a lot of points where the defense don't have to play with pressure. And this week, I think we could see more of the same, even though I'm not saying Arizona's got no shot in this game just because they lost to Tennessee. But I think Indianapolis in this one, they can make a few plays in this one and hold this Cardinal team to about 20, 24 points in this one. Number 8, the Cleveland Browns. So this Brown team, They're grinded out type of defense, obviously. They're hard to move the football on. And you got the best pass rusher, arguably, in the league in Myles Garrett, and one of the better corners in the league in Denzel Ward for this Cleveland Brown team. So this week in Pittsburgh, I expect this to be an FC North grinded out type of battle like we've seen over the years in this division. It's usually with Pittsburgh and Baltimore, but this week with the Browns and Pittsburgh, I could see it. Aaron Rodgers, he's been playing good, but I think if they could get a few sacks on him early as Cleveland, they could limit him in this ball game. And also, like I said, it's hard to move the football on this Cleveland Brown team. They're top 5 in yards per game, giving up number 9, the Buffalo Bills. So this Bill DST hasn't been great this season. But this week, I like the matchup in Atlanta and coming off a bad loss versus New England, where obviously they thought they were going to have a big game versus the Patriots and beat their division rival, the Buffalo Bills. Now they're going to turn things up, I think, defensively, where their defense has been leaky this season. And Michael Penix, he hasn't made great decisions this season as well. I know this offense has a lot of good players: Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts is playing better this season, Darnell Mooney. But I think Buffalo, they could go into Atlanta, limit Michael Penix to an okay ball game. And the thing with Buffalo, they just got to start creating more turnovers. Number 10, the Washington Commanders back home after a nice victory, and they dominated that Los Angeles Charger team and shut down that high-powered offense in the Week 5 victory. So this week a matchup versus the Chicago Bears Monday night coming in. Caleb Williams, so far, he's looked okay in terms of fantasy football, but he's still a quarterback with bad habits, holding on to the football too long, taking some big hits instead of just getting rid of the ball. So he's been inaccurate with turnovers. Definitely could be a thing. So Washington, like I said, back home. Bears offense, not a bad offense, no doubt about it, but an offense that still has its flaws. I think Washington this week could be a decent option. Number 11, the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers last week, they didn't play great defense. Krosky Merritt had a game on the ground versus them, and now they go to Miami, where their offense, even without Tyreek Hill, has good playmakers, obviously. Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, and Darren Waller out of retirement last season to this year, playing 2 games so far this year with 3 touchdowns. But I think Los Angeles, they could get to 2 a couple times in this ball game. And like I said, without Tyreek Hill in that lineup, they could find some ways to make plays in this ball game as this Los Angeles Charger team. And coming off a bad loss, I think this defense, they rallied together in this ball game in Miami and make some plays. In the 12th and final DST, I'm ranking is Las Vegas Raiders. So their 1 week top 12 option is this Vegas Raider team. Their defense isn't all that great, but they got the young Tennessee Titan team coming into town. And Tennessee's offense has been one of the worst units in all pro football. I know last week they won the ball game, but a couple fluky plays got them back in it, especially Cam Ward threw an interception. Then it was fumbled off the pick and then recovered in the end zone by Tennessee was one of their scores. And then obviously the DeMarcado, where he let the ball loose at the 1 yard line for the touchback. So those things went Tennessee's way. But this week, I think Vegas back home, they got the doors blown off last week. They could lock in a little bit in this game. And like I said, they don't have much going on as Tennessee. Calvin Ridley finally had a 100-yard plus game last week. Tony Pollard, he's been okay at running back. But besides that, not much going on. And Cam Ward's still a young quarterback, where I think Crosby could get a few sacks in this game on him. And this could be a grinded out type of game between these two teams. That's the top 12 defense DST units I'm ranking for week 12 of the fantasy football season.